Good morning. It is a Tuesday morning. I have some weather to talk about. I'm going to arrange my screen here. Let's see if I can do this. There it is. Okay. Yeah, Tuesday morning. Mario, tropical storm, never became a hurricane, but definitely going to pump some moisture our way. So the story this week is going to be that opportunity for some lightning strikes. And certainly in Southern California, where there's the forecast is pretty aggressive that way. For us, the models are still out, and we'll look at that. So the potential for sort of a midweek, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, unsettled weather pattern exists. Scattered showers and dry lightning a possibility, which is something you never want to see. We do have temperatures that are feeling very fall-like, not so much. This afternoon it's going to be pretty warm, which is fall-like for this time of year. But it's pretty cool. Overnight lows in Lake Tahoe in the upper 30s. Right now, Lake Tahoe is 47 degrees. This is Bliss State Park. Water temperature at South Lake Tahoe in this zone is about 62 degrees right now. Talked the other day, I don't know if you saw yesterday, I talked about the sea surface temperatures. We've got sea surface temperatures offside the coast of San Francisco. They're at 64, 62, 63 degrees. They've cooled off a little bit, but they've been very warm for a while, and so that's why it was so humid. They've cooled off a bit, and that's helping. But it has definitely increased the humidity around here and kept temperatures a little milder than you might expect. The humidity, the infusion in the Central Valley, not just there, but along the coast as well. Sacramento right now is 65 degrees. Today they go 96 degrees. San Francisco right now is 65. That's at 9:30. And San Francisco is going to go 75 degrees. Los Angeles is 75, goes to 90 degrees today. So there you go. There you have it. There's Lake Tahoe. Let's put a loop on it and just watch the sun come up today. Shall we? Yes, we shall. Let's do 3 hours. I was not awake 3 hours ago. Well, I kind of was. Look at that. Little smoke. Sun comes up. You can always tell smoke, right? That orange color. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Air quality a lot better around the state. The air quality a lot better around the fire, although the fires, Garnet fire, still a little juicy with the smoke right now. Right down on the ground. Here's a picture of it. And of course, you can see in this area here, the smoke, and it's kind of filtering north. And this is the time of day when the cool air comes out of the mountains and swoops it down and pushes the smoke down and creates a shallow inversion and makes the smoke if you're in that area, really dense. Later on today, the inversion is going to lift. It's going to warm up, and then it mixes out vertically, and you don't have as much poor air quality. It's still smoke in the area, right? You'll see the orange at sunset in Fresno, but it will be higher, it'll be more diffuse, and it'll be less particulate matter that can cause you issue. So there's the fog along the coast. Kind of a slot there. What can I point out? Well, first of all, I point out how shallow it is, right? It's trapped by the topography of the coastline. It's a little deeper in Southern California, but fog clears pretty much for the entire coastline today. That is a very fall-like thing to do, right? When the fog goes away. And also sea surface temperatures, I think the fog goes away a little easier now too, because the warm sea surface temperatures creates a lot of fog, creates a lot of humidity, but it also it allows that inversion to stretch out more. And when it gets more open this time of year, it gives the sun more of an opportunity to erode it away. Fire's looking good. These gray areas, these represent containment values, right? So this is the Garnet fire, which is really the big fire right now. But that thing it's up over, I think it's 60,000 acres. We'll check it. 80,000, maybe 80,000 acres. But you can see the 80%, I think it's 85% containment. We'll check it. I'll quit speculating. But the idea is when you glance at this map, you go, oh, yeah, good containment on all fires. Let's take a look at the Garnet and see what we got. It is 85% contained, 60,000, almost 60,000 acres, and it hasn't grown much recently. You can see this here. This is that thing I was talking about where the smoke, the air filters out, and it's cooler, and it settles out. This is now at 9:30, so it's starting to lift out because the sun is heating, and that inversion stretches out, and as it stretches out, when it gets up to here, where it just goes away, this smoke will be all up in here, and it'll have more room to spread out. Beautiful shot, though. Big fire, right? Big fire, but 85% containment. I'm sure, the Cal Fire thing this week, it's going to be interesting. So, I'm not a fearmonger at all. It's September. thunderstorms from a dying tropical storm. None of this is really unusual, actually. It'd be unusual if Mario had become a hurricane and Mario had made it a little further north as a hurricane and retained more instability and more moisture and then diffused it here. But this, what I'm looking at right now, looks like something you see at least once every fall. What I'm looking at is a dying tropical storm gets infused into that, a little bit into that southerly flow, little North American monsoon pulling it up. And this, in this case, because there's a low off the coast of California, it pulls it up over the coastal waters of Los Angeles and Santa Barbara, so it's kind of more westerly, and it has the potential to move into the Bay Area, in parts of Northern California. Right now, the areas most impacted, that will be most impacted, are down here. We'll look at the models, I promise. This is a smoke model, and you can see that the Garnet fire is pushing out some smoke, but it's really nothing too amazing. You are seeing some air quality reports, but it makes sense based on the morning, shallower inversion. This afternoon, these will go away. This is the Garnet fire here. So there's Merced, there's Fresno. Fresno's got some bad air quality, and what's happened is the fire's up in here, and it drains off the west slope of the Sierra Nevada into town. So we'll check it this afternoon. I will. Maybe you will too. But I'll check it this afternoon, and it will be much less. It'll still be yellows, a little bit orange, but not purples and kind of Beijing type weather. This is the, not the profiler, but you might as well be the profiler, right? There's Golden Gate Bridge, North Tower, or pardon me, yeah, North Tower. Over 700 feet, right? So what's that tell us about the inversion? Yeah, right, under 1,000 feet, under 700 feet. There's Sutro Tower over here. And what I can show you is, the other thing I always talk about, I always talk about the coastal range being about 1,000 feet to tops. It's about 1,000 feet, right? Especially in the marine headlands here, that's about 1,000 feet. So the marine layer, so it's an average, but it's an easy way to thumbnail it. So you just go, okay, well, so the fog right now at 9:30 in the morning is below 1,000 feet. So the inversion, we go to the profiler, which is located at Fort Ord, but represents us pretty well. When you go to the profiler, you'll see time runs this way. This is yesterday. Little inversion went away. And then you see the depth, which is around, it shows it around at Fort Ord, shows it around 600 feet. And in fact, they had dense fog advisories along the coast. Parts of the coast, San Francisco too, the Great Highway earlier this morning, they've dropped them. But then when the fog gets that narrow, that's when you get some poor visibility. You also get bad air quality if you have, a fire burning in that area. But we do not, fortunately. Okay. So here are the forecast highs. Forecast highs for today, or the highs from today. Where are we going to go? 96 in Redding. That's a nice day. This is, I always think about this time of year. As you look at, kind of find your city if you want. These are the highs for today, 96 in Sacramento. I always think about this because I grew up here, Paradise, and we had a lot of good football teams. We really did. We were good, especially in the 70s. And Friday nights were huge. But my point is, we all play football. But this was the time of year where we would have, what does it say, Tuesday? Tuesday practice was full pads. And it would be, in Chico, the kids down in Chico, it's going to be 95 degrees full pads. Or, if you ever wear shoulder pads and hip pads and leg, it was so hot. Helmet. It's awful. But I always think about that because these Central Valley kids, the kids in the valley, the football, really good because I think they're just tough as hell because it's so hot, especially double days. They don't do double days anymore, but when they did double days, that's 2 practices a day, and I think we did 2 practices a day in pads. I think we did. I think it's illegal now, but we would do that in the summer. It'd be 90, 95 degrees. These are the highs from today. I just revisited my past. It was awesome. This is today, and then watch what happens tomorrow. About the same, a little warmer. And it's a warm-up, right? It's a little bit of warm-up. And then things change. Now we're getting to the interesting part. Well, not interesting, but the part that I think you'll find interesting is the models. These are current temperatures, 72. Let's just do a quick check on dew point check. 74 in Fairfield. The dew point is 53, so that's down a good 9 degrees from where it was a few days ago. So we're seeing the dew points dropping, which it won't feel as muggy. The RH, the humidity is 49%, not 70%. And then we'll check one more. We'll go inland here because the inland spots were getting baked. Yeah, Yuba, Yolo County Airport. So you kind of up there by Woodland, dew point 54 degrees. That's about where it should be for this time of year. So that's good. That was not the case not too long ago. Okay, so here is the GFS. Put a circle around us. You'll see the in question is this area here. This is tropical, the remnants of Tropical Storm Mario. And you see it getting pulled into this low right here. So this remnant is getting pulled in to this low, which is spinning like this. So you got an interesting pattern, and that's where you got, so there's dynamics and here's fuel. And where the two meet will easily be thunderstorms. So we're going to look at a couple of resolutions on this. So you see how that moisture coming in and getting lobbed into that trough. So even a little cutoff low. Ridges up after that on Monday morning. And then it kicks through. That's interesting. Jeez Louise, that's the 23rd. That'll be interesting to see what goes on there. Because see how the thing cut off? That was a cutoff. Now this is just what the model's saying, and it's way out. The thing where we're most interested in right now is this, right? This plume somewhere around Wednesday night, Thursday morning, right there. And then again Thursday afternoon. So Thursday is kind of a thing. And then there's that cutoff. I'm not going to go too far onto fantasy land. And you see another, this is just more down the road. That's a big heat up. That's a big cool down. So the thing we're thinking about is Wednesday, Thursday, and to Friday morning. So what's first thing you look for? You go, okay, well, let's see how much of that moisture gets this far north. So this is precipitable water. So this is on. So it's working its way. That's a lot. That's moisture. That's cumulus clouds. That's mugginess again. That's Wednesday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. And then here we are, right? So right in here, there it shows up. That's Wednesday. You'll start noticing cumulus clouds. And look at that deep purple coming in on Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon. Now it's there. The dynamics are there. Southern California inundated with the stuff. You know, there's some dynamics there. So, right? So this is the period right here. So this is precipitable water. It's not representing rain. It's representing, is there a bunch of moisture in the atmosphere to interact with this low? And yes, there is. And yes, it is around Wednesday afternoon, and looks most volatile on Thursday afternoon, Friday, overnight Thursday into Friday morning. So we will see. This is HRRR. We'll try to resolve it. It's a short model run because it's rapid update. But you'll see you'll see here we are this afternoon. Then here we are Wednesday morning. So you see this area coming up. Thunderstorms for sure. And then look at down in Southern California on Wednesday afternoon. Look at this. So that's going to be, that's a concern. That I don't know if we'll see red flag warnings from this, but that's Santa Barbara south, and you see some stray activity in our direction. Now, anytime you see that, models have a tough time with this kind of a pattern because there's a lot going on. This is something to think about, and I'm not convinced. Let's do this. Let's double down to another model. So we'll go to the North American, back it off, see if it resolves the same way. So it's a little less aggressive on Southern California until it gets going on Wednesday, Thursday afternoon. So there's Thursday afternoon. Again, kind of avoid, I'm looking at the Bay Area because that's where I live, but Southern California, I'm thinking about you because, right? So you see it skirts the Bay Area, but we are going to see lightning strikes in the Central Valley and on parts of the Eastern Bay Area, Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, Wednesday night into Thursday, and a little bit into more into Thursday night, Friday morning. Hard to say. I mean, this is one of those ones I think you wait until you get close to it. Here's Mario here, tropical storm, and you can see there's a couple things that could have happened here. If you had, this is the trough, right? that's going to pull that in. Now, if you had your monsoonal dynamics in place, a strong monsoonal flow, it would grab this sooner and pull it up to the, through the Great Basin, which would still create thunderstorms, an aggressive round, but it would keep it east of the populated cities or the Central Valley for the most part. And that's not going to happen, and that's due to this guy here. So pretty interesting. So Mario, like I say, Mario never became a hurricane. I've been watching it for a while. We were thinking it might be a hurricane at one point, but it never really panned out, the water temperatures and the wind shear. But it's going to be fuel for this next run of showers Wednesday night into Thursday into Friday morning. Red flag warnings up around Seattle, eastern Seattle, the wind and low humidity. Small craft advisories. I wonder what that one is. What's that guy? Dense fog advisory, marine statement. What's the marine statement? I wonder if they got a little swell coming in. Marine weather statement. What's their plan? Point Peters, Bonnet, Southwest, inner waters, Point Magoo, dense fog, and then thunderstorms possible over the coastal waters late tonight through Friday. So Southern California is gearing up for thunderstorms. Remember, you could see it more clearly down there. So that's what they're doing. That's the National Weather Service out of, I think that might be LA. There's one in Oxnard too. Weather Service office. I think that was Los Angeles we were looking at. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, which starts on the 21st. So we're going to be probably about average for this next 4 or 5 days, and then we go above average temperatures. That's what they're saying for through the 25th. And I think that makes sense because we were mostly looking at this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday window with the chance of thunderstorms, which is the weather headline. But when we went down the road, we were thumbing through it. I don't know if you noticed it, but there was a broad ridge developing, and that would be the harbinger of this bit of a heat above average temperatures. Above average rainfall, that's interesting. Okay, not sure how that gets going. Maybe that's monsoonal. Well, anyway, they got above average rainfall starts on the 21st, and today is the 16th. And then we've got, let me see if I can do this. Okay, hang on, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to fit you just right. Okay, I just like it when it fits. This is the swell forecast. Let me see if I can pull it up a little more. Okay. And let's see, this is Wednesday morning. This is Wednesday afternoon, so that's tomorrow. And you see the swell coming in on the coast. That's remnant from those lows, right? It's just what's happening. So as we go through Thursday, so the swell's coming up nicely. I get to surf on Thursday, so I'm kind of stoked. That's Thursday, looks pretty good. And the reds represent, it's wave heights. But you're just seeing an active Pacific. You're also seeing is more subtropical activity. This isn't Mario. This is another tropical storm that is producing swell. And you see it moves out into the cooler water and starts to die. And there's another tropical storm, maybe a hurricane here. We'll see what that does. Again, this is the Surfline model picking up on that. But you see these two spinners coming out of there's that one coming off Mexico, and then there's that one. And then obviously there's this one on the East Coast too, which is pretty significant. And that looks like it just stays offshore. Pretty active dynamics right now. Those are waves. That's not, but that you can correlate the waves to a hurricane because that's what the wind does. It creates waves. Dense fog advisory this morning. This is right now, Ocean Beach. Surf's 3 to 4 foot. I think it's good today, but it's just foggy. And I got to tell you, paddling out, it's an old man now, paddling out in that. I used to do it all the time. You'd race out to the water. You couldn't even see if there's anybody in the water. You would just paddle out. And sometimes you get out and all you could see when you're surfing, you can't see the shore anymore because it's so foggy. That's how frothy we all are when we're young. There's some kids out there, I'm sure. But now I'm like, I ain't going out there, man. There's no sun. It's all cold looking. This is the water temperature. I think I can get it for you. Here it is. So water temperature is 60 degrees. It's cooled off quite a bit, almost 3 to 4 degrees from where it was last week. But it's still 60 degrees, pretty warm. The air temperature is 55 degrees. That's San Francisco's Ocean Beach. This is down at Cardiff. Same thing. I'm like, I ain't getting out there. Now remember, they got thunderstorms in the offshore waters and nearshore waters over the next few days, potential. So they'll be interesting to watch. Their sea surface temperature is 70 degrees. 67 degrees air temperature. Okay, that's kind of muggy. This is Mount Shasta. The snow, God, we got some fresh snow up there last week when we had those showers, snow showers, and it's melted off very quickly. We will play it through a loop. Let's watch the sun come up together. Hope you're having a good day. A little smoke out there. Mount Shasta, Black Butte. Active volcano. I know. The Marians live under the mountain. When I was a kid growing up there, there were lots of UFO stuff up at Mount Shasta. A lot of UFO stuff. A lot of it. I never saw anything. I've seen stuff, but I've never seen anything up there. Just unidentified stuff. We'll talk about that someday. It's for meteorologists, it's sort of interesting because I don't know I don't know what's going on really in terms of, these UAPs and stuff. But I'm a meteorologist, so when I see something, I go, I've seen two things, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense meteorologically. So I kind of think I'm an expert. Like I've looked at the sky a lot because of the gig. But I've seen two things that are like, nothing scary, but I'm like, oh, that doesn't make sense at all. That's not that's not a cloud, right? That's not this. I've seen, which is sort of interesting. This is Mount Whitney. Sun comes up, beautiful. Interesting how it hits Whitney. That was cool. Let's do it again. I never really noticed that. Watch this right there. How I guess that's how you can tell it's the tallest peak, right? Because the shadow coming up right over the White Mountains, right? It shadows everything else, but it's the first thing it hits is the tallest thing. So there's the peak. All right, look at that. And pretty good, but I'll tell you what's going to happen tomorrow and the next day. We're going to see good cumulus buildup in that area. Jellyfish, it's that time. I think I covered everything. Mario, so tropical moisture. Really good chance for some thunderstorms, especially south of Fresno, but north as well, which includes Bay Area and some very, fire zones that we're worried about for sure. And these thunderstorms have the potential to be elevated and a little bit dry, so that could get cloud to ground lightning, and that last thunderstorm round we had a lot of rain. We had a lot of rain with it. It was awesome. This time, I think we'll have rain, but I don't know if we'll see as much, and that could promote some kind of fire start. So we'll watch it. It's going to be one of those periods where you're going to hear everything. So what you and I just like what we look at. We look at the HRRR, the North American model, and the GFS. So we look at three of the main models, and we have a pretty good idea as of Tuesday, today, what's going to happen as we go down the road. These are jellyfish, and apparently they like being upside down. No one's come up with an answer for me on that. This is down at Monterey, down at the aquarium. These, I know you're going to go, how do you see those? You don't know. I go, no, those are otters right there. And they love the kelp. I love the kelp too, because there's never been a white shark attack inside the kelp. And then usually when you're surfing, well, occasionally you get stuck outside the kelp, but usually where the waves break, the kelp, where the waves don't break, the kelp stays more intact. So the kelp bed is usually outside the break, so it smooths the onshore winds out, so you can keep it glassy. And at least I tell myself this: there's never been a shark attack inside the kelp. I've seen shark bites. I was out one time at 4 Mile, looks like this, and I was surfing, and the kelp wasn't as much kelp. And this otter came by. It was like half an otter. I was alone. This is 1979. And half an otter goes floating by, and he's kind of pulsing blood. I kid you not. And this is how frothy I was. I'm like, yeah, well, poor otter. I literally kept searching. Clearly had been bit in half by a shark. Probably wasn't a big shark, but still. So anyway, these are sea otters. A little bit of swell showing up too. Look at that. More swell than we've seen. These are cormorants as well. Let me move on here. Oh, move the camera. Hell yeah. And then we got bears. This was actually kind of awesome. I found some other angles on a bear cam. Here we go. I like this angle. These are the bears downstream a little bit, so not in the falls. Maybe the less aggressive bears, the bears that don't want to, because you have to posture for position on the falls or back here. They're all looking for the best position. They can eat 120 pounds of salmon a day, a good fisherman, and they're 120 pounds, and that's like works out to like 30 or 40 fish a day, the good ones. So these are just big fat bears. This is down the run from this. Oh, that's when these are highlights. But the bear, it's peaked. So the sockeye salmon are slowing down. I would be scared to see that bear in real life alone. What's he doing? Oh, he's tired because he's so hungry, been eating so much. Doesn't look very comfortable. It's just, wow. It's funny how, not funny, but it's sure interesting how big they got. And then look at all the salmon refuse on the beaches. And no wonder the seagulls are all over it. Wow. Bears. Brown bears, remember, not grizzlies. Okay. And then we got Fairlawn Islands. A little clearing out there. Remember I said that. You're going to see this kind of pattern as the day gets on. That inversion is going to lift. And the fog probably is going to go away along the coast. Little tip, too. I think Ocean Beach is going to be good today. This is, I don't know if it's going to play for me or not. This is Santa Monica. I don't know if it'll play. Bad camera, but Santa Monica Pier. Nice day down there. Like I said, Los Angeles is going to go 95 degrees. 95 degrees today? 90 degrees today. Coffee bean, tea and leaf. I've never really been to Santa Monica Pier, but doesn't that look like so LA to you? Yeah. A little claustrophobic there. But fog's clearing down there as well. And again, tomorrow they're going to see more of the thunderstorms and humidity. This is Skydeck in Chicago. It is 72 degrees right now in Chicago. Here's the temperature. This is live. This is LaPorte, Texas. A little bit of southern moisture. High humidities. Dew points down there probably in the 63 percentile range. I'm looking at alto cumulus. You're looking at more humidity here. Looks muggy as hell. 72 degrees, Washington, D.C. It's kind of fun. This is this Earth cam that I just kind of bumped into. This is 9/11 Memorial Museum, which I've never been. I've heard it's very moving, though. I don't even know where we're going here. College of Georgia, New Brunswick, Georgia. Okay, they're just building that. This is Honolulu, Hawaii. Sun's just coming up. It's morning out there. 79 degrees as the sun comes up in Honolulu. Summit 1, Vanderbilt, New York. Oh, wow. You know, there's Central Park. Wow. That beautiful. Confession, never been to New York. I know. Never been. Got to get on that. This is, I always joke that this is New Orleans. I always joke that I haven't, yeah, I've only been like east of I-5 like 3 times. But it's more like 5. Okay, so I'm going to roll. Let's see. I'm kind of excited for these pictures. Charlottesville. All right, I like this new camera. This will take us around. But you see how the humidity impacts those areas down there. Okay, so we talked about it. Mario, we talked about this Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning thing. It's going to be interesting. Okay, I'll see you back here.